Okay, so a quick lesson on the difference between passé composé and imparfait. Okay, this is a tough topic. I'm going to break it down for you as easily as I possibly can, and it's something we will continue to go over. So this is based on the reference sheet that you have. I want us to go over this part of it. Okay, this talks about different uses of the passé composé and the imparfait. So on the left-hand side in this column, you have passé composé. Here's how I want you to think of passé composé. Passé composé you're going to use to talk about something that happened in the past, that happened once, okay? Like hier, on est allé au parc pour jouer au foot. Yesterday we went to the park and we played soccer, okay? It's not we were going to the park and we were playing soccer, it's we went to the park and we played soccer. Happened once, passé composé, okay? It could also be something that happened multiple times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, but it has to be a finite number of times, okay? J'ai visité Disneyland 5 fois dans ma vie. Like, I've been there, I've visited it 5 times in my life, okay? So again, something that is a very specific number of times. A series of actions, une série d'actions, okay? Le prof est entré, il a dit bonjour, et puis il a écrit le verbe au tableau, et les élèves ont copié. Okay, so this is a series of actions, things that happened all in a row. The teacher came into the room, he said hi to the kids, or to the students, and then he wrote the verb on the board, and the students copied the verb into their livret, okay, into their booklet. A series of actions. There's no description in there, it's just things that happened one after another. And the final category I want you to remember for passé composé is the consequence, la conséquence d'une action. So the consequence of an action. The fish died because he jumped out of the water, right? Le poisson est mort parce qu'il est sorti de l'eau. Or j'ai réussi à l'examen car j'ai bien révisé mes notes. Okay, I passed the test because I studied my notes well. Okay, so consequences of actions. But again, actions, specific actions. So now move over to the imparfait side. Okay, in the imparfait side, things are a little bit more descriptive. Okay, I want you to think of things on this imparfait side. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Donner une description physique. So, le garçon était jaune. Il avait les cheveux blonds et les yeux bleus. Okay, you're giving a description. Okay, again, in the past. So if you were to talk about yourself in the past, like j'étais blonde, j'étais petite, etc. Anything like that that's a description, use the imparfait. Anything that's giving the context of a story, you're setting the scene for a story, you're talking about the weather, you're talking about once upon a time, like in this example. Il était une fois, il y avait une très jolie princesse qui s'appelait Belle. Okay, you're giving a context of a story. Once upon a time, there was. Okay, her name wasn't just for 1 second, her name was always Belle. Okay, so again, context of a story. You could talk about weather, you could talk about things that were going on. Okay, if you're giving an opinion in the past, donnez votre opinion. Okay, ce restaurant était horrible. Okay, this is really it was a really bad restaurant. Okay, or je n'aimais pas la pizza. Okay, I didn't like it. Okay, anything that's an opinion, even though maybe it was an opinion only for a minute or two, it's an opinion, so you have to use the imparfait. Number 4, une habitude au passé. So anything that was something you did habitually in the past. Like when I was little, j'allais en Floride pour les vacances quand j'étais petit. Le vendredi, j'allais au cinéma, par exemple. Okay, so when I would go to Florida, or I went to Florida for vacation when I was little. And on Friday, le vendredi, okay, that's what this is, le vendredi, every Friday, I went to the movies, okay? Now, I know you want to say I was going to the movies because it's imparfait, but I want you to say I went. It is I went, but it's something you did habitually, over and over and over again, okay? It was a habit. It was something you did regularly, so then you can use the imparfait, okay? If you wanted to say une fois je suis allé au cinéma, that's your passé composé. Now, une action interrompue. Je regardais la télé quand ma mère est entrée. Okay? So the je regardais is imparfait. Okay? And the est entrée is your passé composé. Right? So what was I doing? I was watching TV when my mom came in. Okay? Ma mère est rentrée. Or came back. Est rentrée. So that's your action that was interrompu is the imparfait, and the interrupting action itself is the passé composé. And finally, les actions, oops, never mind. Une action, yes, une action, exactly what I said. Je regardais la télé is your action that's being interrupted in the imparfait, and your passé composé is est rentré. Les actions mentales. Je croyais que tes amis me connaissaient. I thought your friends knew me. Okay, these are all mental actions, so these need to be done in the imparfait. Mon frère ne voulait pas venir à l'école ce matin. Again, a mental action. You're going to use imparfait. Finally, just to make it a little bit easier here. Okay, I want you to check this out. Passé composé, action. Imparfait, description. Passé composé, une fois, just once. Imparfait, régulièrement. So something that happens regularly. Passé composé, soudain, all of a sudden. Okay, and imparfait would be something that's continuel, a little bit more continuous. In English, we can look at it as did in the passé composé versus was doing. But remember, you can't always do it that way in the imparfait. This little symbol right here, okay, I clap my hands and I say, une fois, je suis allée à la plage. Okay, passé composé versus j'étais à la plage et je n'étais pas contente parce qu'il pleuvait. Okay, and these are all your descriptive words, so that's your imparfait. These are words here in this box that I want you to make sure you know what they all mean. These are indicator words for the passé composé, and these are indicator words for the imparfait, things that will help you recognize in a text whether it's something that's going to be imparfait or passé composé, and feel free to use them in your speaking and writing as well. Okay, I'd like you to go on and do the exercise that compares the passé composé and the imparfait. Bonne chance!